All right, hey everyone, Sean Rosensteel here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the author's preface, right? And we're going off of the version of Think and Grow Rich, by the way, from Tribeca Books. So if you happen to miss the overview video for this video series, this version is available on Amazon, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle. All versions are available, as well as there's a success guide below that you can download too. And I'd highly recommend grabbing that. That's going to accompany every chapter through the book and really help you to deeply integrate these 13 principles into your own life. So let's get started. So the preface. This is probably one of my favorite prefaces I've ever read because in it, Napoleon talks about this secret, right? And there's a ton of speculation on what this secret might be. I'll share mine in a moment. But first, on page 3, Napoleon says, in every chapter of the book, mention has been made of the money-making secret, which has made fortunes for more than 500 exceedingly wealthy men, whom I have carefully analyzed over a long period of years. And then on page 5, he says, a peculiar thing about this secret is that those who once acquire it and use it find themselves literally swept on to success with but little effort, and they never again submit to failure. And finally, on page 7, he says that the secret is more important as a part of the knowledge essential for self-determination than any which one receives through what is popularly known as education. Somewhere, as you read, the secret to which I refer will jump from the page and stand boldly before you. If you are ready for it, when it appears, you will recognize it. So, what is this secret? I believe that the secret of Think and Grow Rich is profoundly simple, and it's this. You can exchange money for anything you want in life. Sounds obvious, right? But I mean that both literally as well as figuratively. So literally, sure, you can exchange money for anything you want in life. But figuratively speaking, if you exchange the word money, riches, and wealth for anything you want in life, as you read through this book, it's 13 principles to help you get whatever it is you want. So if it's spiritual wealth or relational wealth, or wealth relating back to your physical health, your mental, emotional state, whatever it is, you can literally exchange those words throughout the entire book, and it gives you a step-by-step methodology to help you get that. So it can be think and grow happy. It can be think and be fulfilled. It can be think and have peace of mind. It can be think and have better relationships with your significant other, or, whatever it is. So I believe that's what the secret is. You can exchange money for anything you want in life. So as you read through this book, I think it's important to recognize what you believe the secret is, right? So that's what I believe it is. But what's important is when you find it or when you have an idea of what it is, that you write it down. You don't want to forget it when you find it. The second key point here is Carnegies Formula. So he says on page 3, Mr. Carnegie proved that his formula will work for all who are ready for it, provided you know what it is that you want. And that's the kicker, right? So this formula, this 13 principle formula will work for you, provided you know what it is that you want. And some of us do know exactly what we want, right? Others of us don't know what we want. But even if you don't know what you want, you know that you need to seek clarity, right? So you do know what you want in a way. You want clarity as to what it is you want. So therefore you seek clarity. So if you don't know what you want, as you go through this book, have that in mind. Have some clarity in mind. That's what you're shooting for. That's what you're aimed at. I can remember years ago, I was very unsure as to my purpose. I was caught in what Viktor Frankl might call that existential vacuum, right? I didn't really know what it is that I wanted. I didn't know what I was doing here. I didn't have a sense of meaning or purpose in my life. And I decided one day that my purpose was to discover what it was. And the moment I made that decision, something in my brain just switched, right? And there's something in the brain called the reticular activation system, if you've heard of it. It's known as RAS for short. And it's that function that helps you seek out and tune into whatever's relevant in your environment that's going to help you. So it's a focusing device. It's really a filtering device, right? So if you've ever wanted a new pair of shoes, for example, then everybody in your environment you notice was wearing those shoes. Or if you ever wanted to buy a new car and all of a sudden that same make, model, and even the same color was on the roads. Everywhere that you looked, you saw that car everywhere. Well, that was your reticular activation system doing its job. So this is what he's saying, is this formula will work as long as you know what it is you're looking for. So if you know what you're looking for, keep that front of mind as you read through this book. But if you don't know what it is you're looking for, look for clarity. Have clarity in mind. Seek that out as you read through these pages. So that's the second key point. Third key point is turn down a glass. And I'm laughing here. I'll tell you why in a moment. But on page 7, he says that whether you receive the sign, and by the sign, he's referring to the secret. Whether you receive the sign in the first or the last chapter, stop for a moment when it presents itself and turn down a glass. For that occasion will mark the most important turning point in your life. So when I read through this book the first few times, I kind of went right over that, and I didn't really know what that meant. I quit drinking a long time ago, so I'm like, well, I'm not going to, turn down a glass, but it's an old-fashioned saying, in my view. I had to Google it, and what it simply means is pause and think for a moment. So as you read through this book, you're going to have a ton of breakthroughs. I'm going to assume that you're going to have a ton of aha moments, and you might just discover what this secret is for yourself. And when that happens, pause, take a moment, and as Napoleon suggests, turn down a glass. Because I can guarantee you from my own experience, it will be a significant turning point in your life. So that's the third point. Fourth point is ideas. I'm on page 8 now. He says that all achievement, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. And I think that if you're like me and so many of us out there, we follow conventional wisdom to a certain degree, and we think that, if we go to school and we earn a degree and we go out into the real world, we'll have everything we need to succeed. And, we advance up the career ladder and we buy the home and we buy the fancy cars and all this stuff. And we don't realize that those before us, those people who have built significant wealth, and it doesn't even have to be financially speaking, it doesn't have to be financial wealth. It can be spiritual wealth. It can be mental or emotional wealth. It can be physical wealth. What we don't realize is that so many of those people began with an idea. So it's not so much about following conventional wisdom. It's more about having an idea and then pursuing that idea with like an obsession in mind, right? So again, all achievement, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. So keep that in mind. As you read through this book, you're most likely going to have a ton of ideas. I'd highly recommend making notes in the margin or writing them down, or better yet, download the success guide below, because that's going to help you document some of your ideas along the way through each and every chapter. But just have a look out for these ideas that are going to hit you as you read through these 13 principles. Last but not least, he talks about the readiness factor, and I love this one. I'm on page 8 again. He says, if you are ready for the secret, you already possess one half of it. Therefore, you will readily recognize the other half the moment it reaches your mind. And I think what Napoleon's doing here in the preface is setting us up. This idea of the secret, either this is a brilliant marketing strategy, which it very well may be and is, or he's setting us up saying, hey, watch out for this. Be on the lookout for this secret. So the fact that we're ready for the secret and we're looking for it means that we already possess half of it. We're halfway home. Now all we need to do is recognize the other half the moment it reaches our mind. So that's what I believe are the 5 key points of Napoleon Hill's Preface, right? In the next video, we're going to be covering the introduction, some of the key points that I've extracted from the introduction of Think and Grow Rich. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to like it, subscribe to my channel as well so you don't lose sight of the following videos. We've got a lot of videos coming in this video series. So I look forward to seeing you and serving you in the next video. Take care.